Un personaggio molto bello, noi abbiamo visto soltanto la prima puntata, quindi giudichiamo da quello, insomma, un personaggio molto dolce che continua a prendersi cura del fratellastro, ovviamente non credendo che ci sia di mezzo il diavolo. Volevo sapere, per quello che ci puoi dire, ovviamente senza nessun spoiler, come si evolverà il tuo personaggio, se continuerà ad appoggiare il protagonista, il fratello, se crederà poi alla fine che invece c'è qualcosa di soprannaturale, insomma.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to talk about Megan without giving too much away. I'm trying to think of each part of the question. No, because I want to answer it all. It's a really good question. I think one of the beautiful things about the pilot is that the show does a really good job, Robert and Chris and our director Adam, of developing the relationship between Megan and Kyle, and painting a very dynamic picture of that relationship without giving you all of the information immediately. I think Megan is very loyal to Kyle, and the reason that she's loyal to him is not only because she loves him, but also because he did a big thing for her when she was much younger, and she couldn't kind of stand up for herself the way that he could. And the series explores that later on. And I think she will always defend her brother because he did this thing for her. And I think also she doesn't really know what to believe, because what happened between Kyle and Allison and Amber is so different from the person she knows. So I think she's kind of stuck somewhere in the middle of saying, I'm sure there's some truth to that, but I just can't wrap my head around you doing something like that. So I think that's kind of the initial place that they're at. And also she cares about him so much. She wants him to have a good life and to go back to having a lot of the things that he had before. I mean, I'm not sure if you can imagine having your whole family ripped from you, and then being cast out of society. I mean, there's kind of that double meaning in the show that he's very much in. I'm sure you guys are all smart, so you already got that. Hopefully. So there's that, and then as far as where Megan goes, I love that you think that she's so sweet and wonderful. I feel like in the States, people are like, she's so no nonsense, and she's so sassy, and she doesn't take any bullshit. But I think that is her dynamic with her brother, so I'm so glad you got that. And then I think Megan's story starts to kind of explore, you start to discover in many ways that she's a very strong person who's created an identity for herself that is very separate from this thing that happened to her when she was younger. And you know, Reg was talking earlier, sorry I'm making your job hard. Reg was talking earlier about how there's very real human evil in the world, and that's a lot of what Megan deals with. Her evil is very present, and it's represented in a human form. Somebody who comes back into her life, and I think it's kind of her Achilles heel. It's like all of a sudden, all of the strong things, you know, she's been at the gym, like the emotional gym, like getting really strong, and it's like having somebody, you know, come like out of left field and, you know, kind of like getting T-boned. Do you guys have that phrase in Italian? Where you're like sitting at an intersection and then you go and then something comes out of nowhere, and yeah, so that happens for her, and then there's the fallout from that. And
it's a human that does it too.
Yeah, and I think it's really great that the show does both.